All right, we are back. Episode 2, Justin in the Jungle. Thank you for tuning in. Got a new backdrop. Still trying to work on getting some fancier things behind me so I don't have to do a virtual backdrop, but that'll come with time. Give me time, folks. Here we are, episode 2. And what an episode it's going to be, y'all. What an episode it's going to be. New Tyler Childers album out this week, and a Bengals loss to the Browns. I don't remember the last time I've cried this much in 1 week. It's been brutal. I've written eulogies. I've helped people write obituaries. I have written squeaky clean jokes for stand-up comedy at churches. And none of those were as hard as writing this week's breakdown of yesterday's quote-unquote game. This episode, we're going to talk about Joe Burrow's constant struggles with the Browns. We're going to give a recap of the game with the Browns. I'm going to give you some of the very, 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 very few promising moments from the game. And folks, I did it. 1 episode in, and I got my first YouTube troll. I'll share that with you later. And also, I'm going to share with you how that 3-leg parlay turned out that I told you all about on the last episode. So let's get into it. Joe Burrow versus the Browns. The sky is blue, the grass is green, and the Browns beat Joe Burrow. Just 3 natural things anymore. And I don't get it. With something about the Browns. And fair play to you guys. I'm not going to sit here and give any excuses for that game. I'm not going to. If he was healthy, good. If he wasn't, he probably shouldn't have been playing. But they played him. You guys won. Fair play to you. You're 1-0. I thought that was a Bush League after the Kansas City game when the announcer, whoever that was like, the Lions won, but with an asterisk. Like, it doesn't matter. It's still a win. Don't take anything away from that win. That was a good win for the Lions Thursday and a great win for the Browns yesterday. Joe Burrow, man. Joe Burrow, 1-5 in his 6 games against the Browns. 1-5 in those 6 games. And I was looking up stats today. Only 10 passing touchdowns against the Browns in those 6 games. Only 10 passing touchdowns. And what's even crazier is 6 of those touchdowns, 6 of those 10 passing touchdowns came in 2 games where he had 3. Yesterday, that might have been statistically, mentally, physically, reality, whatever more long words that end in Y, his worst game ever as a Bengal. Absolute dog shit in Cleveland in the dog pound. There's a joke there somewhere, but I don't have it in me today. Having to talk about this game, man. Joe Burrow yesterday, 14 for 31, 82 yards, no touchdowns. 82 yards and no touchdowns. Joe Burrow, 5-year, $275 million Joe Burrow. And look, hey, no picks, though. He didn't throw an interception. So we got that going for us. Head up, Bengals fans. We got this. But he said it last year. He said it this year. You don't judge the Bengals' whole season on the first 2 games of the season. I was talking with a buddy, And he even brought it up on his podcast today, Andy Ruther, Dirty Sports. My boys, I don't know. I don't know if it has anything to do with the Bengals just not playing their starters, especially that their offensive starters in the preseason. I feel like the first two games are always like preseason ball. It's always from weeks 3 to 5 where the Bengals get their step, and there we go. We're off to the races. Last 2 years, deep playoff runs. 2 years ago, Super Bowl. Last year, AFC Championship. This year, I mean, the expectations are high. Sorry about that. Windows security. Expectations are high this year, and it didn't help after Burrow signed that big contract. And I hate to say this. Because he is my favorite Bengal. But this might be our last season with Tee Higgins. This might be our last season with the best receiving core in the NFL. And honestly, now, after that contract, after everything, it's Super Bowl or bust. There's no more that's the standard now. The past 2 years, you've been knocking on the door. You've had this same squad for 3 years. This is a dynamic team. I do not know what happened yesterday, but we got to figure it out quick, and they got to get going, because I'm telling you, man, unless there is some football god out there that owes me something, I don't see how it gets done. I don't see how we have, I mean, even the franchise tag on Higgins is like 19 million. He might be, I made the joke, he might be tag Higgins next year. But I don't know. I could see the Bengals perhaps tagging him and trading him. And this breaks my heart to say, anyone who knows me knows that I love me some Tee Higgins. I think he is the unsung hero of our offense. And, I know it's Jamar and Joe just have something truly special. But, man, Tee Higgins can go to arguably over 90% of all NFL teams and be their wide receiver one. T deserves that wide receiver one bag. And I just don't see if we're going to keep Chase and Burrow and some of the other signings we've had. It's going to be a lot of string pulling and a miracle to keep him. So, Bengals, this is it. This season is Super Bowl or bust. And that's not the way we wanted to start. And trust me, I've been a Bengals fan for a while. I know how the Bengals start. I get that. That's fine. But this is not the year to take your time. This is the year to put foot on the gas and just go. Super Bowl or bust this year. Let's get this game out of the way. Like I said, man, the Browns against Joe Burrow. Like, Burrow is 1-5 against the Browns. And, man, maybe Burrow was hurt. Maybe that's another thing. Maybe he wasn't 100% yet. I talked to my good buddy Johnny Cardinelli, diehard Browns fan, funny comedian, good friend of mine, another Ohio boy. I was talking to him yesterday during the game, and even he said, he was like, man, I don't know what it is. This isn't Joe Burrow. And it wasn't, man. It wasn't. Even in those losses to the Browns, never have I seen 82 yards and no touchdowns. Maybe he wasn't ready. If he's not, don't play him. We have way too much invested in him now to even be chancing anything like that. And did the rain help? Maybe. I mean, help the Browns? Maybe. But man, I'm just going to come out and say it. Myles Garrett, a dog. Holy cow. Easily front runner defensive player of the year. Easily, barring no injuries. I think he's just a product of his environment. He plays for the Browns. He doesn't get, the love from the NFL. But man, what do you have yesterday? 2 tackles, 1 sack, 4 quarterback hits. No way, baby boy. Sure, those are the numbers, but that man's name was tattooed all over that game. We all saw the highlight film. If you guys didn't see it, my guy is acting like he's dribbling a basketball, looking at the Bengals offensive line like, I own you. I'm going to get through. I'm going to get to your quarterback. So you see from the back, he's like acting like he's doing a little crossover, dribbling under his legs, just air dribbling. He looked like the dude on Above the Rim, like when he was acting like he was playing ball, but he wasn't really playing ball. And man, sure as shit, got right in there. Rushed. Joe Burrow caused a sack. That was one of just the many things that guy did yesterday, man. And he was just on another level. And fair game to him, man. That guy is a dog. And I was talking to Johnny this morning, and I was like, what, if anything, really did you notice yesterday that surprised you about the Browns? And you can't say you beat Joe Burrow because that's just a regular occurrence now. But Johnny texted me back. He's like, the defensive coordinator, Schwartz, had Myles lined up in different spots. The first time he's ever done that. And yesterday was one of those games for the Browns that they always find a way to lose in previous years. And they won it. They won it, man. And is it time to maybe start talking about the Browns have one of the best defenses in the NFL? I want to say yes. The way they looked yesterday, holding Cincinnati to 3 points, just the Bengals could not get on any type of rhythm. And that game yesterday reeked of last season's Halloween game. That's why I don't know if we can talk about the Browns being top 5 defense yet, because it's always when they play these games against the Bengals. For some reason, they play like they're Super Bowl contenders, like they're multiple Super Bowl champions. They play their absolute best ball every time they play the Bengals. And, it's fun to make, jokes about them during the season. It's always the same thing. They win, they beat the Bengals in games that aren't relevant. And then they lose games later on in the season that they're not supposed to lose. And yesterday, I'll be honest, that defense looked amazing. So hats off to, what's his name, Schwartz. It's your guys' boy now. But I'll say this. The Bengals defense, I think, got overshadowed by the score. I think that score looks a lot worse than the game actually was for them. The Browns had possession of the ball for 35 minutes and 50 seconds. 35 minutes and 50 seconds our defense was out there. They had 11 more minutes of total time of possession than the Bengals. And they were in it. they were in it up until honestly, it was the field goal when McPherson missed that field goal. I felt like that just kind of sucked it out of the team. And I think that's when the Browns just went with it. The Bengals defense held Deshaun Watson to 16 of 29, 154 yards, one touchdown, one interception. Now, granted, he did have a rushing touchdown. So, that's just what you're going to get with Deshaun Watson. He's going to get those rushing touchdowns as well. And Nick Chubb, another dog yesterday. I'll give it to him. Great game on his part. But for as long as the Bengals defense was out there, I saw promise. There's been a lot of talk about, how that the defensive backs are going to be. We lost Von Bell. We lost I'm going blank right now. The fella to the Falcons. Why am I forgetting his name? You guys know who I'm talking about. And I'm sure I'll probably think of it later on in this episode. But I didn't hate what I saw with the DBs. Dax got his pick. We got a fumble recovery back there. Like, I didn't hate. I thought the defense looked great. I thought the defense did all that they could really do for the amount of time they were out there. So many 3-and-outs with the offense, so just they shouldn't have been out there that long. And then the fourth quarter, they were just tired, man. They were tired, and rightfully so. But if I'm taking anything away from that game on a good note, I don't hate what I saw with the defense. Like I said, they held the Browns to 4 and 14 on third downs. I don't even think the Browns ever went for it on fourth down. I could be wrong. I don't remember any situation where the Browns went for it on first down. So what do I take away from the game, man? I love comeback Burrow. As we've all seen, like, I'm expecting a huge game next Sunday against the Ravens. I definitely think Burrow gets going next week. I think he's too good of an athlete not to. I think he's too good of a stud. I think we have way too many weapons on offense to really ever have a game like that again this season. Shout Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon wasn't horrible. He had his moments in the game yesterday where he was doing what he had to do. So I'm not going to say he looked like the Joe Mixon that we all know and love, but he had his moments. So I'll give that to him. But it was just a sloppy game, man. It was super sloppy. And that's all we're going to say about that game. 1 and 5 against the Browns. That still just kills me. The Browns of all teams. And hey, I'm eating crow. What I say last week, I predicted 22-13. About that. What else did I predict? Oh, see, I'm a humble man. I'm a very humble man. And I will tell you guys how that 3-leg parlay I told you to bet on went. My 3-leg parlay last week, I said take Higgins over 4.5 catches, Tyler Boyd over 32.5 yards, and Irv Smith anytime touchdown. Tyler Boyd, over 32.5 yards. Had 10 yards receiving. Tee Higgins, over 4.5 catches. 0. Tee Higgins had 0 catches. And I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. That might have been the first time Tee Higgins has been held without a catch in his career. 0 catches yesterday. And needless to say, Irv Smith did not get in the end zone yesterday. I believe, Jamar Chase was our leading receiver with 39 yards. So fantasy owners that had any Bengals, it wasn't a good week. It wasn't a good week. Hey, I think we got the Ravens. We got the Ravens next week, and I'll have a episode for you again on Thursday where we'll talk. But speaking of Ravens, I got in some grown men's feelings this week. I clipped my recap of why I think Lamar Jackson is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. Backed by stats, a lot of stats that Ravens fans refuse to accept. And because of that, I got my very first YouTube troll, y'all. I did it. I got a YouTube troll. And this is funny. Let me tell you the comment that he left me. And I'll respond to him because I don't have much else to talk about today. There's wasn't much that happened in that game yesterday that I feel like talking about. So I'm going to talk to at Jim B7816. He saw the video of how I say Lamar Jackson is the most overrated quarterback and overpaid quarterback in the NFL. He is. And here's his comment. And you must be a Biden voter. Dumbest comment on YouTube this week. 2 exclamation points. Good job, Bengals fan. Can't wait for your 500 season. I get it. It hurt your feelings in your fandom to have the reality check that you guys are overpaying your quarterback. I don't have his stats in front of me, and I shouldn't be talking trash after Burrow's performance yesterday. But Lamar wasn't that great either. And here's the thing, man. The Biden voter, what are you doing? What did any of that have to do with politics? Like, how sad is your existence that that's the first thing that you go to is, must be a Biden voter. I'm not going to talk politics on this podcast because it's a way to lose half your people listening. But I will say this, there's so much more you could have said to me, man. Make fun of my appearance, make fun of anything. I give you so much. I have a virtual background. I don't even have a high budget podcast. This is kind of, you could make fun of. There's so much I gave you to make fun of. But Biden voter? That didn't even make sense, my guy. Maybe better luck next time. But folks, we're going to wrap this episode up. Once again, if you guys could, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff to this podcast, that'd be great. It is brand new. We got a few views, few listens on the other podcast apps, watching it live on YouTube, whatever you're doing. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. This has been another fun episode. It hasn't been fun. It hasn't been fun. Talking about a Bengals loss on Monday is bad. Um, I don't know what's going on the Monday night game right now. I did see that Rodgers is down. I think that's horrible. I think we've all been waiting to see what he's going to do with the Jets. So hopefully it's nothing serious. I'm going to be back Thursday. If I don't find one, I'm looking for a Ravens fan, like not Jim B or whoever the hell that guy is, but I'm looking for a Ravens fan that wants to come on and talk about what they see the Ravens' keys to victory being on Sunday. And also I want them to put together a 3-leg parlay so we can talk about that. So that's what I want. If I have any Ravens fans, friends, hit me up and come on my show Thursday. We will have fun. It'll be fun. We'll do a little debate, nothing bad. So that being said, like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Let's get this going. Till Thursday. Hoo day. End recording.